Try new things. We discuss it all the time. The importance of trying new things. You don't know what it is you like until you have tried all the stuff. It's important. It's imperative. I suggest you start with us right now. It's Eat, Drink, Smoke. I'm Tony Katz. That right there, lighting up, is America's favorite amateur drinker, Fingers Malloy. And this from RoMa Craft is the CroMagnon Anthropology. This is a 5 3/4 by 46, which means it's 5 3/4 inches long. Tee. Always makes Fingers Malloy laugh. And the ring gauge is a 46, the diameter of the cigar, or how thick it is around. Again, with the laughter. These guys are out of Austin. They also say they're out of Esteli and San Jose. What I love about this cigar is that this is a Pennsylvania broadleaf. It looks gorgeous. It feels gorgeous. It has that grit. I am a sucker for the grit in a wrapper. I love that feel. You've got this mottled black going on where you really get to see the leaf, and there really is some great contrast between the darker, almost black parts of it and where that brown leaf is, but you could see it. It almost looks like it's painted on, and it's got this feel of like a wet, luscious, coarse sandpaper. That wet, luscious, coarse sandpaper. That's right. I used all of my vocabulary in that one. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. And at a 46, I love that kind of Lonsdale ring gauge.
Here's the one thing that strikes me as we just lit this up. The hand feel. This is a little bit heavier than I expected it to be.
Right? Because at a 46, you're playing in a little dainty. So a 64 ring gauge is a full 1 inch around. We usually play in the 52s, 54s, 50s, sometimes 48. So this is just a little bit smaller there, and you really can feel it. There's a real difference, but this is just a really not the everyday ring gauge. And I think that kind of sets it off. There's a whole philosophy that there is a golden hour ring gauge. The idea that, so here's why it matters. The whole ring gauge conversation in a nutshell. Wrapper to binder and filler ratio. That's the whole thing. The reason we spoke Lanceros, and we came to this separately, like we never had a deep, detailed conversation about it, Fingers and I, is that you get more wrapper to the binder and filler, so you really do get more flavor out of it. But some people consider it too dainty, and it's too small, and doesn't feel right in the hand. We don't have that kind of conversation. We're fine with it. But there's this idea that there is a perfect wrapper size, right? Or ring gauge, I should say, to give you the right ratio, and it makes the cigar better. That's why you can smoke the same cigar, right? The same wrapper, binder, filler, but in different ring gauges and get different experiences from it because of that ratio of wrapper to the binder and the filler. We just lit this up just into the first third. Fingers Malloy, how you feeling?
Well, there is a little bit for me of some pepper right off the bat and nice tobacco flavor. Other than that, I'm not getting a whole heck of a lot, but we are just in the first third of the cigar.
Yeah, we just started this up, and you do want to take your cigar and break it into thirds. First third, second third, and final third. Not physically break, settle down. We're talking about the idea of in your mind. And then you want to get out a notebook. Any notebook will do. It's not, you don't have to spend big money for this thing. Any notebook will do. What did you eat today? What did you drink today? The weather, some bitter cold here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And then as you smoke the cigar, write down what you get from each third, right? What you eat today, what you drink today as well, because that what you ate and what you drank can absolutely affect your palate. You write down what you're feeling from the cigar. It doesn't matter how esoteric, doesn't matter how weird or how base you think it is. And then when you try that cigar, a month from now, 6 months from now, from whatever it is, you go back and you compare the notes, and you'll be like, oh, this is the note that connected. And, oh, look, I said this one again. That's your through line. That's really what you got from the cigar, and then you can utilize that and say, okay, Pennsylvania broadleaf brings me these flavors and this, and I can maybe look for other things in that range. The CroMagnon Anthropology from RoMa Craft. It's a nice straw. It's a beautiful feel. I think you're right about the hand feel. It comes off a little heavier than you would imagine, which for us is a good thing. We like to feel it in the hand.
That is a good thing in my mind, and I don't know why I'm so obsessed with that right now. I guess maybe it was because I'm really surprised. I thought that this was going to have a much lighter hand feel than it does.
Yeah, and it's this is a full-bodied cigar from beginning to end. I think you're right about that spice. I think it's also got a nice richness to it. I think that there's a you can argue that it's earthy, but it's also again, I'm going to go with luscious. There's a little bit of a sometimes you might say cream. We often discuss cream a lot. This is more, I think, of a leather, almost a suede kind of texture thing going on, which really does. It feels good. It feels very, very good. And then there's a little bit of pop. There's a little bit of something that dances on the tongue that's outside the spice.
And it really does stay with you. I, for one, am just absolutely so far impressed at what we have here. And really, like you mentioned it earlier, the draw is very easy and lots of really pleasant smoke coming off of this cigar.
The question, Fingers Malloy, is this in your humidor from RoMa Craft, the CroMagnon Anthropology 5 3/4 by 46? Is this in your humidor for $10.50 a stick?
Wow. I mean, listen, of
No,
course.
No, allow me.
Okay.
For Pennsylvania broadleaf, all day. I give this a go. I give this a try. No question. By the way, first time having the cigar. I am not into the first third yet. I'm saying yes.
Well, if you're going to put a gun to my head,
I will do what I have to do to get the answers I need.
At this point, I would say yes as well. But being that we just lit this, I'd like to actually get a little bit more into the cigar before I say, yeah, I'd like to actually enjoy it a little bit more.
You want to do a second or third date before you commit?
Absolutely.
Oh,
is there anything wrong with that?
No. We're making a baby tonight.
That's wonderful.
And then they get to celebrate with the RoMa Craft CroMagnon Anthropology cigar. All ties together. Eat, drink, smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. Find everything at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. I have been asked, hey, do you guys have any swag for the holidays? The answer is yes. We just don't have the store built. We weren't really planning on having it built for 2024, but there have been a lot of asks. So we at Eat, Drink, Smoke will have some links up where you can just buy right there. We'll put the picture of the thing, right? We've got the hats. We have got the tumblers. We've got the books, of course, signed, and we'll ship them to you. That's at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. We will get that up. We are smoking the CroMagnon Anthropology from RoMa Craft. This is the 5 3/4 by 46, $10.50 a stick. And Fingers Malloy, this Pennsylvania broadleaf, working for me on every level. I'm super happy with this cigar.
I am too. It has been low maintenance. Haven't had to really touch it up all that much. We've already discussed the hand feel. That spice, that pepper is still there for me. I'm picking up a little bit more cocoa than I did before. I think you're spot on when it comes to that kind of leather note,
right.
A creaminess is. It's just a home run, especially at that price point, Tony. You said $10 a stick?
$10.50 a stick.
Yeah, it's definitely in my humidor.
This is playing super nice, and I will admit, this is surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be. I like Pennsylvania broadleaf. I liked the feel of it. I think you're right about that. This is playing very nice because it's spice, but it's not a spice bomb. That leather is melding in. That leather creamy kind of thing is melding in. To the cheek. I think there is did you say a cocoa? Because I think there's a bit of a wood thing that's happening a little bit in this cigar. And altogether, I like it. I'm going to try other versions, variations, depending on what else is available.
What's really impressive about the cigar at that price point is we have now mentioned 4 or 5 different notes. Yeah. It's hitting you in a lot of different ways. I just think that, especially at $10 a stick, this is a home run.
Yes, this is working out very, very well. From Still Austin Whiskey in Austin, Texas, this is the Still Austin Cask Strength Bourbon Whiskey coming in at 116 proof. Fingers Malloy, always applauding for anything over 100 proof. Comes in at 70% corn, 25% rye, and 5% malted barley. So it's definitely a high corn content. Should bring you some sweetness, but that's a big amount. A big amount of rye right there, which should also bring you some spice.
Yeah, it should. And by the way, if you go to stillaustin.com, which is their website, they have the mash bill. Like you said, 70% white corn, 25% rye, 5% malted barley, 100% Texas.
It says what it says. It says what it says. It's actually a very pretty color. That is deep, dark, where copper touching amber right there. Very, very, very pretty. A little viscous, a little bit of it's sticking to the glass. We've got the Glencairn glasses here. It's where you've got the foot and it kind of bows out, comes back in, really get your nose in there, kind of concentrate some of those flavors. And on the nose, Fingers Malloy, it's there. It wants you to know, but not overwhelming, not overwhelming in the ethanol at all. All right.
It's definitely a dark fruit.
Yeah, right. It is fruity. And it's not. Is it orchard? Right. It's not fruit punchy.
No.
Right.
No.
It's a little more vibrant though than like what I might think of as a stone fruit,
and maybe a hint of cinnamon. Maybe.
All right.
Dark fruit.
In the faintest background, there might be a little bit of cinnamon.
Did I just suggest that to you?
You may have incepted me.
I'm really excited about this. It does have an impressive resume. 2022 and 2023 double gold at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition.
Which is never a bad thing. You people like competitions. They like being able to say, look what we've won. I like to know what the flavor is. There's also a sweetness. So is that sugar or is that cinnamon that I'm getting? I don't know. But enough of smelling this stuff. Fingers Malloy, you ready for this?
I've been ready for this all day.
This from Still Austin Whiskey is the Cask Strength, 116 proof, at least 2 years, which is very, very slight in the world of bourbon, but still bourbon unconditionally. Are you all right?
Woo! Okay.
Are you okay?
So
Somebody kick your dog?
No,
you got a tear in your eye.
Listen, first of all, yes, it is 116 proof. I can confirm that. On the palate, listen, there's a nice bit of sting on the tongue, and there is a whole lot of warmth in the chest. Not unpleasant at all. I don't want to give you that impression at all, especially on a very cold central Indiana winter day. This is hitting me right away. That hit me was brown sugar. Not a lot, maybe a hint of oak, but not really all that much. And for me, rye spice. There's definitely a spice there as well. So and maybe like a blackberry.
I'm going in. This is the Cask Strength from Still Austin Whiskey. Here I go.
He's going in, ladies and gentlemen, and he is doing what we like to call the Saginaw Swish. I've been told I should be calling it the Saginaw Swirl. I like Saginaw Swish better.
Oh,
there he is.
All right, there's the cinnamon. There's the cinnamon in double and redoubled measure. There is a nice bit of big red going on, full sides of the tongue. There's absolutely no heat. There's zero.
Really?
Zero.
Wow.
Zero. Wait, no, zero. Zero heat. A lot of sting on the tongue, sides of the tongue. That's a lot of cinnamon. That is.
But you're not talking Fireball cinnamon.
Well, I never talk Fireball cinnamon because I love you too much. I think that is a very nice description of caramel. That's, people talk about caramel in bourbons all the time, and I will admit to you, in everything that we've ever done, I have very rarely utilized that terminology until now. That's there. And actually, that caramel is really sticking in the finish where it gets a little sweet. There's a bit of oak happening. You said blackberry. I would tend a little bit more to cherry or berry in that direction, not blackberry, but I can appreciate that there's a subtle difference there. Yeah, I'm going to go caramel. Cinnamon and caramel and in the finish, and the heat is not building. It's just there in that cinnamon. That's super duper pleasant. That is super duper pleasant from Still Austin. It is their straight bourbon cask strength. Ooh. The question is this in your liquor cabinet? We're going to talk price. We're going to figure that out. Still Austin Whiskey Company, AUSTIN, as in the city in Texas. Get it?
Got it.
Good. Eat, drink, smoke. It is your cigar, bourbon, foodie extravaganza. I'm Tony Katz. That is Fingers Malloy. Find everything at eatdrinksmokeshow.com. We are smoking from RoMa Craft. This is the CroMagnon Anthropology. It is a 5 3/4 by 46 cigar, Pennsylvania broadleaf. I am officially a fan. This is wonderful.
It is. And that spice is still there for me. I don't know if it is for you. It's subsided a little bit, but it's still got a nice bit of pepper.
This cigar is just smoking beautifully. That flavor profile is spectacular with that bit of leather going on, bringing in I don't know other flavors we've been discussing there. That bit of earthiness. There is more of a wood that has become present as I'm into the second third of this cigar. I cannot tell you just how absolutely happy I am to have found this.
Yeah. And my goodness, anytime you can find a cigar like this for $10 a stick, $10.50, I think you have to grab it.
This is a pleasant cigar, and we are drinking from Still Austin, their cask strength bourbon, 116 proof. It was delightful on the palate. The nose certainly brought a lot to it, but I think a great definition of caramel in here with a little bit of cinnamon, like a bit of a big red kind of feel. I think it did still have a little bit of kind of oak undercurrent. There was a little bit of cherry for me. You said blackberry for you, which I think is an interesting way to view it. I would consider cherry to be darker and a little more luscious. Blackberry a little more upbeat and a little more like tangy presence is how I would like. That would be the difference for me. But you're still with that.
Yeah, and that sting really hits you to the point where you said cinnamon, and I could see that sting hits you in a way, and in a pleasant way, that can also affect your feelings on it. I actually felt like there was a little bit of rye spice on the finish as well. It's just really, really solid.
Is this in your liquor cabinet?
It's in my liquor cabinet at $44 a bottle.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
$44.
Yeah. Oh, all day. Now, I would love it if it had a little more of an oak presence, but yeah.
Now, I've seen it listed at $60 a bottle. So if you see it at 60, what do you think?
I'm a maybe at 60. I still think it presents solid value at 44 all day. It's not even a debate all day. But we got to try this some other ways. So Fingers Malloy added a little bit of water to his, as he often does, and I went for the cubes because that's kind of what I do here. So Fingers, you just did it with a little bit of water. Now, what water will do is bring down the proof, but water also opens up the bourbon. Some flavors a little more pronounced, some flavors a little more muted. But what do you get?
What's amazing is, okay, so the sting is still there on the tongue, but it doesn't hit you the way it did, when it was just neat, but it eventually gradually builds to the point where it was there. It doesn't hit you in the face like it did. To me, there's more oak now.
Yeah.
It brought out some oak that, for me, more of a brown sugar. That's there. And then, again, there's to me, a kind of a rye spice finish.
All right, I'm going in. Well, I mean, there's big rye on this. This mash bill was 70% corn, 25% rye, and 5% malted barley. And as they say on their website, it's Still Austin, 100% Texas.
Yes.
So I'm going in on the rocks.
There it is.
That's how you know it's quality.
And if you ever thought that we are making that up, you can always find the show on eatdrinksmokeshow.com in video form, along with your favorite video platform.
I know we're sharing one. Every now and again, it's like you have to try it this way. I'm sorry, that's excellent. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. The oak is definitely more there. The cinnamon is a little less pronounced. You're still now it's almost into the level of buttery.
Yeah,
is what has been accomplished here on that mouthfeel, and more buttery than caramel. Neat, it was more caramel. This is a little more buttery. All day. That's really good. Now, for some people, I will admit, this may come across as a little too sweet. There is a real sweetness here that's happening, and if you're more into the big punch and more robust oak, like me, that's not perfectly your flavor profile. But there's enough here to make you go, that's a nice drink.
I don't know if I would make a cocktail with this because of the sweetness.
Wait a second. You've got some levels of fruit. I'm saying cherry. Why can't you have an old fashioned with that?
Yeah, I guess you could. I just am so impressed with because I have more of a sweet tooth. I'm really just enjoying it by itself. I don't want to monkey with it other than some water or some, and I like it a lot better on the rocks than I do with a couple drops of cool water in it.
Yeah, well, we have more ice. We have technology here that makes the ice.
2024. What an age we live in,
I know,
Tony.
Isn't it true? That's a nice presentation. Fingers, we have done well today.
I think so too.
$44. If you can find it for $44, this is the holiday bourbon right here. And I'm telling you right now, as we get ready to do our top 3 bourbons and top 3 cigars of the year, we don't do a top 10 list. Honestly, it's too much work. But we do a top 3 list. You might see this from a guy by the name of Fingers Horatio Malloy.
It's true. And I got to tell you, it once again proof that check out the local distillery. You know, it doesn't have to always come from the big boys to be good.
Yeah, that's surprising in presentation. They both are. They both have delivered in ways we weren't expecting, and this is why you try stuff you've never tried before. You don't know what you don't know. You have to try the things. You got to spend the money and try it. Still Austin, the Cask Strength Bourbon Whiskey at $44 a bottle. That's where Fingers got it, man. Solid at 116 proof. And from RoMa Craft, this CroMagnon Anthropology cigar, Pennsylvania broadleaf. Spectacular. Grab it and smoke it. This is Eat, Drink, Smoke.